guys, this is my big surprise. Remember I told you yesterday I have a surprise for you? Well, here's the surprise. It's still the same day, but I'm recording 2 mukbangs today because tomorrow I'm off to Florida. I'm saying goodbye to Orlin. Say bye to Mr. Noodle because I have to go do some stuff there and, you know, bring back some important things. So that's why I'm gonna have this backed up. And today, well, it's actually 4 p.m. This is my dinner time. I love eating dinner at 4. Anyways, creamy Alfredo pasta. Here it is. It's already done. Oh, and Mr. Noodle is already climbing over to get some. Come back over here. Come over here. Where do you think you're going? My goodness. And okay, so it actually started out as a disaster. I Googled cheeseless Alfredo sauce because I'm not eating cheese right now. And I'm like, okay, beep, 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 beep. And I find a recipe. I'm like, oh, this is simple. It's 5 ingredients. And I'm cooking it with Orlin. You know, he's talented in the kitchen. He likes helping in the kitchen. I have no idea what I'm doing. And so we're making it, and I'm taste testing, and I'm like, this is a little gross. He's like, yeah, the problem is it's only 5 ingredients. He's like, this is why I only make my own recipes, and we never, ever follow recipes. Orlin just designs them on his own. Look at you, playing hide and go seek. So he actually helped save it for me, and, it is just delicious. Noodle? Oh. Oh, you're dropping noodles everywhere. So anyways, he saved it for me. And I'm going to show you step by step the recipe because this is a recipe and mukbang. Both recipe mukbang. So obviously you know how to make noodles. So scoot that out of the way. Let me show you real quick, just a few minutes how I made this. And then we can start eating together.
Step number 1, turn on your stove and begin heating the pot of water. Once it's close to a boil, grab your favorite spaghetti, place it into the pot and add some oil. Step number 2, begin peeling 3 cloves of garlic. Chop them up into fine little pieces. I believe the proper terminology is mince. And place that into a separate stir-fry pan. Add some oil, and while you wait for the garlic to heat up, begin chopping up the cauliflower. You'll know once the garlic is finished, once it turns golden brown, and this takes just a few minutes. Step number 3, the recipe calls for a cup of almond milk, so that's what we're gonna do. And pouring it into the pot. Once it starts to boil, we add this cauliflower. And you know, at this point, we realized that this is a disgusting recipe. We tried this concoction, and it tastes like garlic water. We realized this would not be thick or creamy, and this recipe is poo-poo. So Chef Orlin is gonna take over now. That's the reason we haven't provided exact measurements this whole time. Anyways, now we're adding a drop of vinegar, some plantain powder. You could use potato starch if you're gonna try to copy us, some pepper, some salt, and the entire box of almond milk. Yeah, we decided that this wouldn't even have been enough sauce for the amount of pasta I want to eat. Now we're adding garlic powder to the mix before putting it into the blender, which we blend for about 20 seconds. Nope, still doesn't taste like Alfredo. So back to the pot. Boop. Now we're adding more plantain powder, some saffron, and butter. Oh yeah, here we go. Tapping into our inner Paula Deen for some wisdom when we need her most. It gets butter, y'all. Oh, it looks like cheese now. Look how thick it got. Oh,
give it a little touch-up.
Thank you, Orlin.
I did some plastic surgery.
Just what it needed. When my pasta nice and hot still.
Noodle can actually eat this.
Steamy. Oh yeah.
So there you go. That is our recipe. It's Orlin's recipe. He should patent it. He should come out with a cookbook. But we are just too #lazy and busy. I don't know. How many of you guys would actually buy a cookbook from us? Comment down below right now and say, I want Orlin's cookbook. I want his recipes because they are always so good. I'm very fortunate to have him in my life. And here's another surprise. My computer. Oh, I just kept holding on and it came back. Keep holding on. Somewhere make it through. Oh, I don't know how. I was just talking to Nadia today and I'm like, guess what? Our computer just decided to work again. We don't know how. I can't explain why. We don't know why. It shut off. It was off for days, and all of a sudden I opened, because you know I'm about to go to the States. I'm like, I would love to take this with me so I can still do mukbangs for you guys. I was planning on just going to the library and stuff, but the computer, as of now, is working. I don't know how. Can't really tell you much. So let's get eating. I'm very hungry. All I had today was cheese and crackers with salami and ham, and I had a few biscuits. Noodle. Noodle. You said noodle. So I'm gonna pour it into here. Ooh, there we go. I should have brought one of those little, like, what do they call it? Spatula, you know, so I can get this all out. Oh, Orlin comes to save the day. Just, I need a scrape.
I'll help you.
Thank you. All right, so I'm mixing it around. Oh, look at him. He wants you to come up, step up. Creamy Alfredo. Oh, yes. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I don't even know what I'm going to talk. I never know what I'm going to talk about. I sit down and I say things that come to my mind, but this might be a quieter mukbang. We'll have to see. I say that every time, don't I? And then it never happens. Oh, noodle. Oh, Mr. Noodle. I know it has no avocado, which means you can have some. Noodle? Oh. Oh. That is so good. Now, I do have this butter here. This is my butter that I left over from the cheese and crackers, and I have to use it. As you can see, it's nice and oily, and it's so good. Mmm. So I can't believe that tomorrow is the big day. I know I said today's a surprise, and surprise, I'm still here. Tomorrow's the big day. I'm leaving. And Orlin sat down in the bed with me today, and he was like, I'm gonna miss you. And he was sad and gloomy all day, you know? He was already feeling sad. Still, I'm not even gone yet, you know? But, last time I left, it was for 4 months. This time, it's for 4 days or something like that. So, it's a lot better. But we don't like being separate. After that big long trip, you guys know, when I went to Asia, it was just too much. Sometimes when you're separate from your partner for a little bit, it's healthy here and there. You know, I've talked about this. It's healthy, but when it's too long, it becomes a problem. Noodle. Noodle. Oh, how am I going to give this to you so you don't spill? Well, I always make messes, so go ahead. You can be messy, it's okay. Because we are the cleaning crew. Oh my gosh, this table has gone through so much. Oh, thank you, Orlin. Orlin, how much are you going to miss me? I was just telling the sloths.
A lot.
Excuse me. Is this enough for you, Mr. Noodle? Say noodle. Okay, you can step down. There he goes. Can you see in the corner? There he is. So we're both, oh, I'm sorry. I know I startled you. We're having our pasta together, both of us. And I want to know what you're having with us. What are we eating together? He's like a dog. So, I do like travel. I love going new places, but I'm only going because I have to, you know? I have to pick up something. I have to pick up some papers. I have to, close and renew my visa. You know, it's all these have-tos. Sometimes you travel out of leisure and pleasure, and then sometimes you travel just to travel. Like, sometimes I'm just talking because I have something important to say, and sometimes I'm just blabbing like I'm doing now. Ugh. But this is very good. I remember one time, I felt, oh, the lights changed. You know, since I'm by the window, it's so, like, sporadic. The light, So like I was saying, I went with my ex-girlfriend, my girlfriend Laurel at the time. And we went with her entire family, her mom, her dad, her brother. And we went to this family restaurant. It's like, I keep saying family because family's in the title. It's a family Italian dining. Mangiano's, starts with an M. And oh my gosh, you guys, it was so delicious. And the style of this restaurant is that you order whatever you want, and they bring out, like, you pay a set price and they'll bring you seconds and thirds. Because the Italian, I'm saying family, they want to fill you up. It's like, I guess it's similar to the Latin families. I guess it depends on how much money they have. But even the poor ones, they never want to see you go hungry. They never want to see their son skinny. And Orlin got that from his mother all the time. You're so skinny, you're so skinny, you're so skinny. And then when he gained weight, she was finally happy, even though he was like, even though he was unhappy and kind of sick. she was happy because he was finally no longer Flacco. But when I went with Laurel, oh, I just got like tubs of food. I ate until I felt like I was gonna burst. You know, I love doing that. And then we got everything refilled and we took it home. We just put it in bags, you know? It was like free seconds and thirds. So I ate it the next day. Is Noodle finished? Oh, he's about to, ew, gross. Come here. So that was very nice. And I remember coming home and I was like, Mom, why didn't you ever take us here? I was like, why? Why did I just learn about this place? It's been here all this time and I just found out. Ooh, crunch, crunch, crunch. He's crunching his beak because he's, excuse me, happy. And she wouldn't even take us to Olive Garden. I loved Olive Garden. You know, all that portions and the unlimited breadsticks and Caesar salad. No, my mom never took us to those places, did she? No. No. Mmm. Very nice. Let me just give you a little close-up so you can see exactly what I'm devouring. Oh, it just looks so delicious, doesn't it? So smooth and creamy and like, it's like silky. It's like silky, so creamy. Mmm. Yum. Mmm. Why is this so good? Remember I told you about Sam? My neighbor. Oh my gosh, we just have so much fun together. Here's one of the reasons why. When I was in high school, I didn't get my license like everyone else. When you turn 15, you're allowed to apply for your permit. You take the test, you pass the test, and then you take the license, and you have a, you know, I remember I had some friends when I was in freshman year, their parents already bought them a car even before they had their license. And my mom was like, well, don't get any ideas from that. And it ain't happening, sorry, you know? But what I liked about my friend Sam, oh my gosh, and Sam, if you're watching this, hello, we haven't talked for a few years, ever since I went to college. You know, you go to college and you kind of lose touch with your high school friends. But, oh my gosh, so funny. Very like, optimistic, the opposite of pessimistic. And she loved to eat like me. Ooh, we were such foodies. Well, she had a car. And I would love going out with her to Olive Garden because my mom refused to take the family. I don't know what she had against it. We went to Applebee's. Why do you guys think? Comment down below. What is wrong with the Olive Garden? I want to know. Seriously. It's delicious. Maybe it's kind of on the pricey. Obviously, they say, oh, it's unhealthy. Too many carbs, too many fats, just too much of everything. Similar to that Italian restaurant with my girlfriend, remember? Well, Sam, she was allowed, and I didn't have a car, so I would pop into her car and we would go out on a little date together after school on the weekend, Friday night. Let's go to Olive Garden. Oh, yeah. And so we would go play Dutch. Do you know what that means, to play Dutch? I pay for what I get. She pays for what she gets. And then when it comes to the tip, we both look at each other and go, you put down a few dollars and I put down, you know. Actually, she was very good about like making sure that we always leave 15% minimum, even if it wasn't like amazing service. Because I forget, did she work in the, yeah, she worked at Taco Bell. I remember she worked at Taco Bell and she was like, it's really important that, I mean, obviously you don't tip the Taco Bell people. She was at the window when they're like, hello, I'll take your order. Well, just being in that food industry, I think she realized the importance of tipping well. And then when I went to college, I ended up being a server for a few years, so I learned as well. But oh my gosh, it was so, you know, we used to take breadsticks and put them in her bag, you know, ask for more and like take them on the way. That's all you can eat, that's what it says. And you know, when you're 15 years old, you're a little more mischievous. Mischievous is the noun, is the verb. I want the adjective, mischievous. I don't know what I'm saying. Well, that's what we do. We take breadsticks and we go home, and after we digest a little in the car, oh, that car ride home would be so fun. We'd be like, well, then we go home and eat those breadsticks. If Olive Garden had this variation of creamy Alfredo sauce, I would be there in a heartbeat. Well, obviously I can't, but I am going back to the States tomorrow, so maybe I should check out their menu. I'm gonna do that tonight. Just look, see what they have. And I'll do a mukbang in the restaurant. So if you're watching this, go to my channel and see if I did it or not. Because I'm doing a restaurant tour, and you can see me eat at all these yummy places. Oh, so good. Aren't you guys really happy? Because today I'm using a normal size fork. I thought about having candles and, you know, turning off this light and making it a little like romantic and, you know, as my farewell. This is my farewell mukbang. But you know, having live flames next to me and my hands go flailing, this go flying. And I just imagine this being on fire. And, you know, it's comical and all, but, you know, things fall over in my presence and I don't even, it's not like I plan it, it just happens. I have some kind of problem. Like you know, some people have balance problems that stem from the brain. Though my coordination's pretty good. I ride a bike, I did Irish step dancing, I played the violin, I played piano, I can type real well. But something about the clumsiness. I got the clumsy gene. DNA. So, that's why I don't have candles. So proper. You know, I would love to actually go to a really fancy restaurant sometime in my life. Like really fancy, like gowns and bow tie, and you know, you get a little plop, a little pea with like fish guts, and that's $300, you know, like a French restaurant. Let me know, what's the fanciest restaurant you've ever been to? And I'll look it up and I'll save my pennies, and maybe a couple years from now I will go and I will eat at a fancy restaurant. That would be so fun. I can't even think of the fancy, you know, like, and sometimes those fancy restaurants, as I alluded to, the fish guts and the eyeballs, the cow tongues, you know, sometimes the food isn't actually that appetizing. I remember one time, let me take another bite. I went out with my dad someplace new. It was just me and him. I forget what it was called. It was like it wasn't a chain restaurant, it was like a local, what was it? Alfred's Victorians? No, something like that. Something fancier than what we're used to as our household. And we ate our food and we came home and we went to the McDonald's drive-thru because he's like, you know, I'd rather spend $1 and be a little more satisfied from the cheeseburger than spend $30 on a plate of guts. Did you hear that? I hope you didn't. I really hope you didn't hear that. Wow. Whew, that was a little startling. Anyways. I'm gonna miss Orland so much. But it's only 4 days, and I'm gonna keep myself busy. That's how I get through it when we're separate. I have to buy some new shirts, because I've been wearing Orland shirts like nonstop. You know, I only have like 4 pairs of shorts. And only one of them we bought recently coming here. I came here with 3 pairs of shorts. I used to have more, but I don't. I came here with, I don't like a lot of clothes, but my shirts are from like college. And they're starting to get stained, and I've lost the yellow. I like these V-necks from H&M. I used to wear them all the time in college. A purple one, a yellow one, an orange one, a red one, a green one, a blue one, all the colors of the rainbow. Because that's me. Hello. And over time, they've gotten lost or dirty or ripped. So I'm going to go to H&M, and I'm going to buy new shirts. It's going to be my first time shopping, and like, I haven't bought clothes for myself since college. And college for me was 2010. It is almost 2017. That should give you an idea. So I'm excited for that. You know, I haven't been in a store to try on clothes forever. You're probably thinking, where do you live? But yeah, that's what I look forward to. Something simple like shopping. Because it's not an everyday activity for me. Now, if it were an everyday activity, it's like all things in life. You get used to it, and it's not as stimulating or pleasurable the first time around. Now, that can apply to a lot of things. Use your imagination. And I'm going to take another bite. What else am I excited for? You know, it's one of those things. The plane ride, you know, I'm kind of over plane rides already. I never thought I would because I loved... Choo-choo trains are always my thing. I love train rides, but plane rides I'm not as crazy about. How many of you have ever taken like a beautiful scenic train ride through the French Alps or through Norway or like a German the old Russian steam locomotives? Oh, there's this song. I forget what it's called, but if you open up a new tab, go to YouTube. If any of you find it, paste it down below, and I'll comment and say thank you. Oh my gosh, it gets me so riled up. I feel so boom. It is. You type in Russian steam locomotive, something like that. Russian song, and they show these trains, but they have this Russian music on, and it's. Excuse me. Let me try my best for y'all. Dun 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 da ba ba ya ba 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 ya ba ya ba ya ba bum 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 bum, like Russian. I tried like Russian old soul, like oi boy boy bum 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 bum. You know, oh, I love it. It's so, you know, I'm Russian in my blood. I come from Russia. And so when I hear that music, it makes me feel alive. It makes me feel empowered. It's like a military song, I believe. But for whatever reason, that was the soundtrack they added to the locomotive images. And I'm looking very carefully for when I cross my legs. Don't want the camera to go flying. Please, someone help me find that. Paste that down below. Like, Google old Russian music. I think they use it in a video game as well. Why am I talking about this? Oh, I love trains. When I was a boy, you know, everyone dreams when they're younger. I still dream. But when I was very young, it was my dream to be a conductor of a train. My favorite TV show was Thomas the Tank Engine. I dressed up as him for Halloween. I had toy trains going across my room. I had like those bed sheets with matching pillowcases. I used to love to watch train documentaries as a child. Not know all the fancy terminology for like whatever they're describing in the documentary. Train parts, like the engineering, all the little mechanical things that you don't know what they're for. It's like, how do you build a boat? I don't know. The piece that goes there. But just fascination with trains. And every time I saw a train, I would get excited. Every time I was about to go on the metro, because we used to live in DC. So happy. And I still get that way. Something about trains makes me really excited. Yeah. This is so delicious. Thank God for Orland, you know? Putting that plantain powder thicker. That recipe was a disaster. Runny and gross. No flavor. How is your meal? This is so great. Very delicious. Now when I go to Florida, unfortunately there's no like trains. It's not like New York City. When I moved to New York City, one of my favorite parts was the train. That subway. I remember when I moved to Brooklyn, and this was in Bushwick, right along the J train line. And I forget the name of the street, forget the avenue, but if you just follow the, excuse me, if you look at the New York City subway map and follow that J train over the Brooklyn Bridge, and go somewhere into Bushwick, I moved into an apartment with my friend Anthony, and it was right there at the train tracks. And, you know, obviously when you have a train track right at, because we were on the second floor, it was a 4-story building. We were on the second floor, correct? Yes. And the train tracks were above ground. They went over top of the road. And so you would have your cars going underneath, your taxis, the little hot dog stands, those pigeons flying around, you know, the typical New York, Brooklyn scene. Usually kind of crisp and chilly, but over top you had the train tracks. They would rattle. And so our apartment, our window of our bedroom was right there at the same level of the train tracks. And of course it made the house value depreciate. Is that the word I'm looking for? Kind of go down. But whatever, our rent was still expensive. But if those train tracks weren't there, it would probably have been a couple $100s more. But just because they were right there at our window, it cost less. But I loved it. I used to sit in bed, up against the wall, turn off all the lights, turn off my cell phone, you know, right before bed. If you're watching this right before bed, thank you for watching me, but don't do that. Let me tell you why. The LSD lights, no, LSD, that's a drug. LSD, right? The lights from phones keep you up and they disrupt your natural producing melatonin to help you fall asleep. You know, when the sun goes down, naturally we get tired, right? So anyways, I would turn all those things off and just look out the window. This is before we even had curtains. And I would watch the train go by. And now it would be loud, but I would put my earplugs in. And I would sit there and the floor would rumble a bit, the bed. Because it was right outside our window. Rattle, rattle, rattle. And hearing the horn, doo, doo. And you know, when you're starting to get tired, your brain doesn't like make those connections as quickly. So I'm looking out the window and it's dark. And when the train passes by, naturally, the train's light because they have lights on the inside. So you see the flashing windows going by quickly. Anyone that's been on the subway, you're in a train and you pass another train, you go by so quickly, it's just like these moving, quick images of light and bursts of color. And I would sit there and just watch these lights and it would all like blend in and my melatonin kicking in and I'm just kind of watching that train go by. And we're facing this way, right? You're the choo-choo tracks. Well, far in the distance, we saw planes coming to land at LaGuardia Airport, which was right here. So I would sit in bed, watch the train, feel the rumble, listen to the horn, but also look at the planes slowly coming in from right here, going over my head and landing at LaGuardia. It sounds so simple. It sounds like an everyday sighting to most people. Every New Yorker will be like, yes, I've seen a train, I've seen a plane. But to me, it was like magical, and it helped me fall asleep watching these lights move. These faint lights in a dark room. Oh, I miss that. I don't miss the rent. Don't necessarily miss the roommates or the weather, but I miss that. So that's why they say you can find beauty in everything. Like that scary Russian music I was telling you about. Boy, my boy. That's probably written to depict a dark time in history, or written during a time when Stalin was chopping heads off or whatever he did. There's still beauty in the darkness. So, I don't know why I'm talking about this, but here I am. I told you, I had no idea what, I was just gonna sit down, eat my pasta. That's noisy. Yummy. I'm getting full, but you know what? I'm basically almost done. Look at that. It was like up to here. I'm such a good boy. I finished all my food. How many of you live in Russia? Out of curiosity. Because I mentioned that Russian song. I mentioned the Russian locomotives. I have dreams of seeing Russia. Aspirations. I want to go there before I die. There's a lot of places on this world, small little planet, big planet, however you look at it, that I could pass up, yeah. But Russia is up the top. Ukraine is at the top for obvious reasons. One of my favorite movies is called The Return. Now, if you're into like action-packed, you know, fighting with machine guns and scaries and thrills, and this movie is not for you. This is for someone that, like, little details make all the difference. This movie had barely any dialogue, which sounds like a snore, all right? But I think it won a lot of awards. And the way it's filmed is so dark and cold. It makes me think of St. Petersburg, but it's also some very warm moments. And it leaves a lot up to the imagination because there's little dialogue. And because things are filmed so smoothly and with such attention to detail. There's too many details in movies nowadays that's why everything's chip chop chip chop, all that action packing. You know, that's why classical music's dying. Those subtle details. It's like overexposed camera. Well, anyways, I love that movie. One of my favorites. I can't tell you why, but it is. And I want to see Russia. Now, obviously, some parts are different than others. Wow, the neighbors are all staring at me. Oh my gosh. See, it'd be different if I'm like at a restaurant or something. It would be different if I'm, wow, it got really shadowy. See, I told you it's starting to get nighttime. It would be very different. Oh my gosh, they're staring. If I was at a restaurant, I wouldn't have to see these people again. But these are my neighbors. And they're probably thinking, oh my God. Because the whole window is exposed. All the curtains are open. But by 6 p.m. it's pitch dark. So by 5 p.m. it's starting to get dark, which it is now. 4:30, 5 p.m., something like that. My neighbors, oh my God. Nervous. Wow. Sorry, sometimes ignorance is bliss, right? You don't have to see, you don't have to know. I can still be myself without them staring. Anyways, how many of you still here? I'm gonna miss Noodle. You know that bird? That green thing you saw? That's why I included him in today's mukbang, which, you know, I've been including him in a lot because I know I'm about to go a week without him. This little attachment, this little bond is forming. I'm gonna miss Orlin like crazy. I'm gonna miss the birds outside, hearing the birds sing their song. I'm gonna miss the tiles on the floor. When they're clean and swept and mopped. That first step on a clean floor with clean feet. I'm gonna miss these clean tiles. So I'm basically finished with my pasta. I'm gonna miss the rain. I complain about the rain, but there's something beautiful of being under a tin roof or a cement roof, you know, one of these Latin American houses, and hearing the rain. Like, have you been to Costa Rica and you're in one of those like little tico huts? Hearing that rain, I got so used to it. It's like a white noise. Today, it rained in the afternoon, of course. And Orlin and I laid up in bed, because the bedroom's on the top floor now. And we just sat there. Well, we laid together, and we held hands, and we both looked up at the ceiling and listened to the rain while holding hands. Doesn't that, I mean, I know that sounds so cheesy, but it's what we did. You know, just spending that moment before I leave. And it was nice too, because Noodle was quiet this time. I don't know why. Usually he starts yapping. So it was like pure rain, like real white noise. Well, I am done. I am done with there's a little bit left, but I'm full. So, and the lighting's getting worse and worse. But thank you so much for sticking around, and thanks for keeping me company. And wish me luck on my plane ride tomorrow. I'll probably make a snap or a tweet to let you guys know that I arrived safely. And if all goes as planned, if the laptop, actually legally you can't call them laptops anymore because they got sued because they call cancer. They're called notebooks, MacBook. You can't use laptop anymore. Even the PC laptops, when you look at the thing, it says notebook. Isn't that interesting? So, hopefully if my MacBook works, I can do a mukbang and I can edit it and go to the library because where I'm staying has not good Wi-Fi. I've been there before. Really, really slow Wi-Fi, which is fine. It will keep me off my phone and keep me busy. But I'm gonna go to the library and at least upload a few this week, you know, the next 5 days. And I can't wait to eat with you in my new locations wherever I go, and you can see all the people passing me because I'm doing that little restaurant tour. If all goes as planned, right? So wish me luck. Look out for my snap or my tweet or Facebook. I might post on Facebook as well. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much, my little sloths, and have a good day. All right, bye-bye.